are the inventors, sons of the prodigal. Bigger than just check 1, 2 in it. Some slip away from your view. We stay stuck in your face inside follicles. And like medium of fungo, we stuffed in the jungle. Dog eat dog with no veg. We in the know without a leg.
Welcome to another edition of Let the Brothers Speak. I'm your host, Big C, the chef. And we got the fellas here with me. Well, 2 of the fellas here today. Money Mike.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Hope y'all had a great week.
And the young bull Migo.
Yo, y'all know who it is. Back at it again.
And as you can see, we have a special guest with us today, Miss Mary Harper of the Pay It Forward Projects. How you doing today?
Doing good. Thank you for letting me be here with everybody today.
That's good. That's good. All right. So we'll get into where she's here. But for right now, how was you all's week, man? Did you all get in anything?
Our week was it's pretty relaxed. It's getting a little bit better. Going into like a transitionary period in my life. So I'm trying to, align myself with God, make sure he got me right for everything. So yeah, man, it's been pretty good.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mary. Go ahead. Tell us how you.
It's been a blessed week.
Good.
It's been a blessed week. I took some time off of my full-time job to just kind of focus on my Pay It Forward projects and some of the things we've got going on and just taking some self-care time. So it's been a blessed week, start to the week.
Okay. Well, mine was pretty simple. I took a ride up and visited my brother for his birthday, which was last Monday. That's why I was not here. I got a chance to go out and fish. Got a good fish, lost a good fish, went out and spent some time with a group of people. They're called Heroes on the Water. So they go out and they take veterans and first responders out to go fishing. They're actually based here in Texas, but I got a chance to spend time with the Maryland chapter. Had a great time fishing, food, enjoying the people that were there. So it was really fun.
Okay. So do you catch and release or you catch them and cook them?
It depends on the fish. So if I'm catching a largemouth bass, I'm gonna throw them back. If I'm catching crappie and I know I'm going to actually eat them, I'll probably keep them. If I catch a white bass, I'll probably keep them if I'm going to eat them. But most of the time I'm releasing now. If I catch a striper, which I have not been able to catch a striper of size, then I'm keeping him because we filleting.
You gonna mount him on the wall? Oh.
No, we filleting him. We're gonna have dinner.
All right. Well, you ever catch anything that you wanted to mount on the wall?
No.
Okay. I'm still wondering why people don't go out fishing for tilapia.
Because
that's a man-made fish, ain't it, or something? Or hybrid, ain't it?
I don't know if they
don't have it everywhere. Really,
they have them in Mexico, but you just don't find tilapia in the wild. It's sort of like trying to find a pigeon in the forest.
They're in they're in Florida though, but they're one of those. How Florida has a lot of invasive species like pythons.
Mm-hmm.
They have a tilapia issue too.
Because I know they got tilapia farms, don't they?
Yeah, plenty of them.
Okay, so that's where
they're not native here.
Okay,
so if you were to, they ended up in the water. They're like goldfish. They're invasive. Like they reproduce, I think, like every 2 months, and they'll just destroy the ecosystem. YouTube University. I love animal stuff.
Oh, well, you would love one of the fish they have in Maryland.
What they got?
The term is the Chesapeake tuna now, but it is known by its other name or its previous name, which was snakehead.
Yeah. Those are the same thing, just times 10, because they're aggressive too.
They're aggressive.
So they
couldn't catch one of those.
No natural predators, and they can survive in, I believe, any environment and possibly different types of water. You got
so like a catfish can crawl out of water for a period of time. Snakeheads do the same thing.
All right then. That's your fish lesson. That's your fishing lesson for today.
Shout out to Steve Irwin, man.
Crikey.
Oh, crikey.
Hey, that's my guy.
All right. Well, all right. So, my week was pretty uneventful. You know, the missus was going out of town, so I was here all by myself and didn't have nobody. And
Paint the picture, bro.
so I was bored out of my mind because my baby wasn't here. But she back now, so I'm happy. So anyway, so Miss Mary, tell us about the Pay It Forward projects.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Pay It Forward Project. So we are a grassroots nonprofit organization, and we're based in Dallas, and we service both Dallas and Tarrant County. And our programs benefit the unsheltered and low income families within those communities. We like to tell the story that we are a nonprofit organization that started on accident. And that is because I'm from St. Louis, like Chris, we're both from St. Louis. And when I moved here, it wasn't as easy to go home for the holidays and everything like that. And we were a part of a similar group, STL and the DFW. And it was just a group of people that were, transients from St. Louis that were living in Dallas now. And I started hosting Christmas dinner, for those people that couldn't make it home for the holidays, that just wanted some sense of family. And we were blessed. And I cooked all the food. And at the end of the night, when everybody packed up everything and was ready to go, my girlfriend opened the oven and said, "What we doing with this turkey in the oven?" We had so much food that we didn't even notice the turkey never,
Wow.
never was
Never did.
served. And so
So you had a whole bird.
a whole bird. And so we're like, well, what we gonna do with this turkey? Everybody leaving, And friend said, can you cut it up real good? I said, yeah, I can cut it up. He said, I'll be back with some bread tomorrow. Somebody else said, I'll bring some potato chips. I'll bring some Hostess cakes, some bottled waters. And so we were able to make 76 lunches out of that turkey that we forgot in the oven. And so we purposed that if we can feed 76 people on accident, how much more can you do with intent?
Mm-hmm.
And so we start going out each year with the intent of doubling the number of what we did before. And when we went out that next year, it was cold outside. It was cold at Christmas. And we turned on our cell phones and started asking people on Facebook Live and social media, can you give me a coat? Can you give me a blanket? Can you give me some tennis shoes? And within a week, I had so much stuff that we had to get a storage facility. And we were able to go out in the community and bless people with coats and blankets and things like that. And we've just progressed. And people started giving us suits and ties and dress clothes and things like that. So not only were we able to help the unsheltered at that point, we were able to offer assistance to women in domestic violence centers, that are fleeing and leaving, and they're coming with just the clothes on their backs. We're able to provide clothing for the children as well. We've since been able to partner with the Dress Coalition, and we offer aid to those people that are coming back into society from the criminal justice system. And so we work with them with the reentry program. We make sure that they have toiletries, hygiene products, things of that nature. We try to bless them with financially if we can, to help them get started, because some of them have served life sentences and they come out and their whole families are gone, and they don't have anyone. And so we try to help as much as we can. And we foster now into other organizations. We've been blessed to get so many resources from our other community partners, is that when there are other smaller organizations, they can come to me and say, hey, I need hygiene products. Or, hey, I need shoes. I need this. I'm going out on the street. And we're able to provide that resource to other community partners. So they're an extension of our hands, an extension of what we do. And at Pay It Forward Projects, just like we were blessed to be able to forget about a whole turkey. Do you know how many people would love to be able to say, I forgot the turkey?
Mm.
That's a
Yeah.
blessing,
Yeah.
you know, to be able to say, I just
Yeah.
forgot about it, you know. And we are blessed to be a blessing to others. We have an accountability to be a blessing to others. You know, the Bible tells us this, you know, that he blesses us in order for us to bless others.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do
Mm-hmm.
with Pay It Forward projects. And we like to partner with churches, other organizations that want to make a difference in
Mm-hmm.
the community.
Okay.
And so that's what we're about.
All right. Well, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right on. Well, at least and that's true because you partner with us
Yes.
for an event we have coming up. And I think we hasn't been decided on, but the name I came up with is the Pull Up. So we're gonna call it the Pull Up Voter Registration and Health Fair. So put the flyer out, but it's coming soon. But with information that says coming soon. But if you haven't seen it, go to our Facebook page, Let the Brothers Speak. And I don't know, Mary will probably post it on her page. Because she has a page too for Pay It Forward projects. And we want you all to come on out and tell us your involvement with the event.
So, and we are excited to partner with you guys for this event. I had posted recently on my social media platform, I need to partner with some folks to do voter registration. And then you just reached out to me right away. So I
Right,
said,
but it's
well,
funny
that's
because I never
perfect.
saw that post. I didn't even
Yeah.
see it. I just thought,
Okay.
when we decided to do this, I said, I know I'm gonna call my girl Mary.
Yes, I had just made a post saying, "Hey, I need to partner with some folks because, you know, number one, um, I just look at our weekend. You know, if any of you all are on social media, I am sure that Tyler Perry has come across your
Mm-hmm.
screen, you know,
Mm-hmm.
time after time after time after time for what he's known for already doing, you know. So we've blessed him real good this weekend. We've blessed his pockets real good. Now we need to get to the issues at hand, and we need to be encouraging our people to read about Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we need to really recognize um, what the Supreme Court's ruling on last week and the authority that they are giving the next commander in chief. You know, we need to really pay attention
Mm-hmm.
to what's going on here, and we lose focus as a Black community. We are too easily swayed um, by what's popping up in our social media. And we need to get to a point where we say, hey, we need to have a come to Jesus moment here. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter if you're Baptist, it doesn't matter if you're Presbyterian, it doesn't matter if you're Seventh-day Adventist, it doesn't matter if you're Jehovah's Witness. If your skin looks like mine, we are in trouble.
Very much so.
We are in trouble. And you can say if you want to, we're not going back to Jim Crow.
No, we're
Stuff
gonna go
like
back
that.
past Jim Crow.
Yeah, we're going back
You
at
know.
least 150 years.
Yes.
We're going back to when we came over on the boat.
We are going back just to a time that was unfathomable. And let's just be honest, our young men and our young women and how they've become spoiled in today's society, they ain't gonna make the cut.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. No. Like I've said before, and Apple Juice has said the same thing. This could spark off another civil war,
Absolutely.
a second civil war in the United States. And that's just within our borders.
I mean, they're already leading towards making the average person a slave as it is. You look at how they've written laws and they made the tax laws more convenient to people that are wealthy, businesses, that are creating quote unquote creating jobs, but they're not paying anything.
Right.
You know, it's sad when you and I pay more in taxes than places like Amazon, General Motors, Tesla,
Anheuser-Busch.
you know, Anheuser-Busch. You know, it's sad. You have people like Warren Buffett sitting there going, hey, you know, I actually pay less in taxes and percentage of income than my secretary at the time when he said it. Now, of course, the secretary's done some changes and invested stuff, but she was paying more than him in a percentage. The laws are not set up for people to be employees. Their laws are set for us to be employees, but they're not set for us to get ahead financially as
Right.
employees. And that's the sad part of it, is that you have our Supreme Court that's bought off. We have our politicians that are bought off. And now you have it where the Supreme Court is now trying to change it where the leader of this country will become a king. And one thing I know from living close to DC has no delegates or no representation federally. So they're being taxed, but with no representation. So that's one of their biggest complaints. We're being taxed, but we're not represented on the federal level. So if you could just imagine that we may come to that where we have no power to vote. We're working, but we're just working to stay poor.
Right. Job, J-O-B, just over broke.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you one thing that just baffles me. I have a friend, and he had a legal situation about 10 years or so ago with his significant other at the time. And it's one of those things that just got caught up in the system. And 10 years later, he's still waiting for a court date. Number one, that's crazy to me. 10 years later. And she said she ain't testifying. She ain't coming back because they got a warrant for her. So she'd have moved to a whole nother state and not going to comply, not going to work with him or anything like that. And so this case is just lingering over this gentleman's head, right? So he tried to pick up a second job, you know, to make ends meet. Oh, I'm going to try to drive Uber, try to drive for DoorDash.
Yeah.
This man can't get a job driving for DoorDash over a 10-year-old case that's pending. But you want to put this convicted felon in place and let him run the country.
I thought even goes further than that. If the state of New York says that he is not good to run business there, why do you think it's good business to have him run a country?
That's the mindset of these knuckleheads you got, and that people that his base them voted in office.
And see, I say in a lot of ways, that's on us. Because half of us that do vote, we vote for the presidential election.
Nothing else.
We do not participate in the primary elections. We
right,
do not
in your local elections.
In your local elections.
Right. And that's what we've been pushing. And that's what we've been pushing. We've been pushing for people to, you know, get in your vote, do your local elections. Those are more important than the presidential election.
Because number one, we need to do something to get this clown out of here.
To explain,
you know,
to explain the presidential election, it's sort of like saying, I'm gonna spend all my money on the shingles on the roof, but you ain't put nothing towards the foundation, nothing towards the framework of the building. So as soon as you put them solid platinum shingles up on the roof, the house is gonna fall in because you done everything else is cheap. The foundation ain't built. I would rather you vote for your local vote in your local elections to get the people that you need and hopefully pass some laws that would create something that would push on the state level to say, like, for instance, I don't smoke weed like that. So, but Texas is one of the states that's in their surrounding states that does not have weed, right? But you look at the way laws have been passed. It took 13 states for women to finally get their right to vote. Once it gets up to 26, it's almost guaranteed that it will become a law. You look at, um, some of the bills, amendments that have been passed that allowed things like black people to vote, and some of the things that go on. It's normally starts off with 13 states. Cannabis is already at 26 states legal, but it has not made the federal level. Look at, some of the states that allow third party voting, and they actually push, the whole debates. Our debates on the national level is the top two. If the other parties don't get to more than 3% of the vote, they don't get up on that stage. Maybe we need to push it where we can get some of these things where it pushes on a state level, and it says if you want to push your name on the ballot, you got to put it on the national level and say, hey, you got to have a debate in our state saying that, hey, you got to put all the people's parties on there. Because just imagine if Texas got that, it would almost fall with everybody else. So sometimes you got to work from the floor up. You got to work from the foundation. You got to build it from someplace, but you can't say, hey, Elon Musk, my Tesla did not have the right key. He going to look at you like, what's that mean to me? Go talk to the dealership.
Right.
There's a couple things to touch on right there. I'll start with the one thing, and this one I think affects my generation a lot. Will affect us and currently is affecting us a lot more. It's basically, how they say you're sold a dream. Well, basically at this day and age time, living today, everyone won't be able to ever afford the American dream. And hard work won't just get you there, because everybody doesn't want to go to school. Everybody doesn't want to do this, invest and all of that. Some people just want to work the basic job, work their little 9 to 5 and go home to their family. And you can't just do that now. It's crazy now that even now you can't just live off of your retirement. It's so quickly switched, and don't nobody say nothing about it. From you can live off your retirement to now, hey, make sure you're investing. Well, everybody shouldn't be forced to have that mindset, because it's almost like you're saying everybody has to go into the service or everybody has to do this.
Well,
you made everybody go to school, but invest in it unless you're going to make that something that you teach in school on a regular.
and that's one of the things.
Other categories that in some ways don't even affect us in life. You should actually put some stuff in there that you're going to say we need to do in order to survive, whether we want to be a teacher or a doctor. At this point, everybody has to invest. Well, investment should start being taught at some point in high school or
my thought is it should even
school.
it should start younger. And they teach you the value of a coin by 3rd grade. So that a quarter is 25 cents, a dime is worth 10 cents, a nickel's worth 5 cents, a penny's worth 1 cent, right? That a dollar's worth 100 cents. And we can keep going on. The value of it, but do you really know how it works?
No, because if you don't further your education, there is nothing on the basic level where you're telling a school is mandatory. That is being taught. And another thing that sucks in relation to how you're talking about, like, we're going back 150 years, it's easily you can relate some things to that. And it's not just simply slavery, but just life as a whole, because back then slaves got paid, but it wasn't a livable wage. But what is minimum wage now? It's not a livable wage. You can sit here and tell me it makes no sense that you're going to tell me that I have rights as an American citizen, and you're going to sit here and know that inflation is this percent, and you haven't matched that in at least what the minimum wage is. So it sucks, because, like, if you say you're not getting something passed down from like your mom or your grandparents, well, we're going to have to deal with the interest rates and the prices of homes in this day and age, because we don't get no equity now, because we're buying it at 400 when the house 10 years ago was 118 at maybe.
Well, just think about it this way. Okay, I bought my house 8 years ago. My house has actually more than doubled in price, but did our wages increase?
No.
To match that? and we got to pay property tax. Property tax is based upon the price of what the tax assessor says. So if my wages did not go up, but the price of my house went up, my dollar effectively lost its value.
And I can't remember the gentleman that said it. You gotta be paying taxes on a house, on money that you taxed me that I worked for, to live in a place that you've been taxing me on.
Well,
like you pay taxes on the taxes of the taxes, and it never stops.
I'm gonna tell you the worst of them. This is from knowledge of people from Maryland, because that's where my family is. They pay income taxes. If you overpay, you pay taxes on the returns of the income taxes.
That makes sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
You charging me for the money that you owe me.
Yeah. That's sort of like, the bank, you go into the bank and I mean, they already charge you fees as it is, but they charge you for you being a customer at their bank and saying, hey, because you took money out of your account, I'm gonna charge you a $3 fee for taking money out of your account. I'm like, what the heck?
And then what's amazing is people say, well, open your own thing. Everybody can't be a CEO.
Everybody ain't meant to be an entrepreneur.
Everybody don't need to be like, why can't I work 9 to 5 and you pay me a livable wage? Because whatever I'm helping you make, or whether I'm helping you maintain your big hotel, or I'm helping you build your car, you're already charging so many times what it really costs to make that. You're just being greedy and keeping. Now, fine, you can be a rich person, but why can't you really pay me what I'm worth?
Well, and that's one of the things that I've always said. The SEC takes CEO wages, and when they do their filings, they look at what the CEO has made versus what they call the entry-level employee, the average entry-level employee. So they know the percentage of what these people are making. That's why you could always hear Bernie Sanders say, oh, on average, they were making 300 to 500 times more than the entry-level employee. There's one simple thing they can do. If you're traded on an exchange, stock exchange, at NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, Nikkei, whatever, if you're traded on a stock exchange and you have employees in the United States, right, and you're doing a lot of business in the United States, the CEO should never make more than 100 times more than the average entry-level employee. Then what it says is, now, if you want that wage and you say that you're really worth this much, because I can tell you, Earl Postal, last time I looked, the CEO was making 4,000 times more than the entry-level employee. Now, can you just imagine, these people are making $8 an hour and he's making goo gobs of millions, right? You look at some of these companies that are out there that said, hey, I'm gonna do something different. Like when Tip Kendall was the owner or CEO of the Container Store, he was only making like 35 to 50 times more than his employees, and his average employee was making $71,000 a year. So when you start to look at it and you sit there and go, how are these companies surviving? It's because some people say, I'm not going to exploit my employees, but I'm going to help push them up. The guy that I think owned Chobani did the same thing. He gave all his employees stock in the company, gave it to them. He's like, look, we did so well. Bam, here you go.
This might be a simple way of thinking about things. I know they be trying to say, well, if I raise y'all wages, I gotta raise XYZ. I don't believe that, because if you have a product like say, like I work for GM, let's just say that. Well, if you raise my wages to where I can afford this car, because based off of how my wages is, I might not keep a car 10 years, because I know based on how I live now and what I make, this car is within my price range. So I feel like if you pay people more money, what are people going to do with it? They're going to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just, you have people saving up to do certain big things, but I'm pretty sure that if people make more money, they're going to spend more. So if you just stop raising what you are, you'll never go out of business, because you'll always have business. Because why? I can afford you and you pay me work. So I'm going to always invest in you because you treat me good. You treat me good, and your prices, I can afford it.
Think about it when the beginning of COVID, when they started giving that money,
the stimulus.
when they were giving people that stimulus money, people were actually paying bills. They weren't sitting there going, hey, I'm going to stock it in my pocket or anything like that. They were like, okay, I'm going to pay bills. I'm going to get myself back on track. They weren't sitting there going, oh, I'm going to go bury it up in the dirt in the backyard. I'm not going to stick it under my mattress. No, they weren't doing that. People were actually paying for things. If they gave people a wage that could allow them to live, I'm not going to say like live on the fat of the land, but live comfortably.
You're gonna
You know,
you ain't got to worry about people nickel and diming and what they call it, penny pinching. Because
well,
I got a little bit extra because you ain't raising the price on me and you're paying me enough to where I can buy your stuff. So I'm buying your stuff. I'm gonna buy my friend who works over here stuff because you pay me well enough.
Going back to Project 2025, that one of the things that the Supreme Court did was they made it easier for the police departments to lock people up for being homeless.
I saw that.
So if people are barely making it now, a lot of people are only one paycheck away from being homeless.
But not to say it's a coincidence, but something has to offset, because when you're starting to decriminalize, say, drugs like marijuana, you're not getting the numbers you want in those jails where you get paid from people. So you got to find some way to start getting people back in there to get your tax write-offs and those big checks from the government. So, well, hey, let's make being homeless a criminal offense when you living on the street, because you can't afford to get a place to stay, and not only can you afford to get a place to stay, you can't get yourself well enough, because you're going to be judged on how you look before you even get the job, because Texas has a right to hire or fire you for whatever reason. So you kind of stuck in a cycle.
This about a lot of the unsheltered community these days, they look just like us.
I've been on me and my mom. We've been homeless. We've been in shelters and like the women's shelters before. It's
everyday people. You know, I come across school teachers that are homeless, and they get up in the morning and they go to LA Fitness and they take their shower and they get dressed and they go to school and they teach your babies, and then they go back and they get in their car. And you know, it's because you got apartment complexes that say you got to make 3 times the rent in order to qualify for an apartment.
And most of the rent.
But if you don't have enough pay stubs, if you don't have enough pay stubs, then you have to make 6 times the amount.
Yeah.
You want me to pay minimum 3 times? You want me to make minimum 3 times the amount of what you're charging me for a 500 square foot bedroom, and you charging almost $2,700.
Yeah, the average,
because you changed the paint on the cabinet.
The average 2-bedroom apartment, and I'm just saying average. I'm not talking about something that's giving you the aquatic center, the sauna, the gym. Just the average 2-bedroom apartment in Dallas-Fort Worth is normally $1,500. Now, when you start adding in,
that's not even in a decent
neighborhood.
And
that's not a decent neighborhood. Because if you go
is in a bad neighborhood, so that's
what. And I said, if you're looking at something that I want to make sure that my kids are in a safe environment, or I'm in a safe environment. I don't want my stuff stolen. You're talking $2,200 for
a 1 bedroom, or maybe a studio.
Right.
Maybe
so it's like
studio.
Now
and
you're
the
talking
extended
the person
stays are overrun,
and then you start talking, I got to make 3 times 2,200. You're talking 6,600. Do you know how much $6,600 a month is? That is about $35 an hour. Who makes $35 an hour other than us?
Not the average person.
UPS drivers.
Not the average job. Like
you're talking
a handful out of all the different companies we're having.
You're not talking about the regular like Walmart employee, McDonald's employee, Target employee. You're not talking about regular employee.
There would have to be 2 people making at least $17 an hour.
All
2 people,
and that just and then that defeats person, because now it's really technically 2 people off of what should be the income for one person.
Exactly.
Because now they say middle class now isn't even you.
There is no middle class.
There is no middle class.
It's technically like 6 figure. I think they said they did the average on to be considered comfortably middle class. You have to make almost like over 150.
Mhm.
Over
Well, and
150
that's
to be considered middle class.
but the sad part about it is goes back to Project 2025. They want to get rid of the National Labor
But what
Board,
what's the name
which
called? Trump's is called, what is it? Agenda
Agenda
47.
yeah,
Agenda
Agenda
47.
47. They want to get rid of the National Labor Board. And the National Labor Board is what
Board of
allows us
Education.
to give
Well,
us the right to unionize, to collectively bargain. So that they are the unbiased group of people that says, okay, we're going to see whether or not there will be you as management cannot do this, you as union cannot do this, and they try to be unbiased about it. But what ends up happening is you get rid of that. Now companies will say, oh, all unions are trying to do is take your money and they're trying to ruin you, they're not going to do anything for you. Well, let me tell you something. I don't trust doctors either. Doctors will tell you, hey, let's just cut you open. But if you try to sue them, you're not going to get anything for it. All right. But they'll try to slough it off and say, it wasn't me. It was the nurse. It was this. It was that. Everything. It takes forever to sue a doctor. Doesn't matter what state you're in.
And it's because there's also considered a practice. So
Mhm.
well, I think that if I don't know, them getting rid of the labor board, I don't know, that might be a good thing because I
it
tell you
depends on
what.
who they transfer like certain those authorities
Well, see, the thing is, if without the labor board there, that would make the union stronger because look, we have no one but ourselves to depend on. And if this job wants us to do this, then no, we will go on strike. And you can't make us go back to work. The president can't come in and say, yeah, I got to go back to work. No, there's no labor board. So we going to stay out here on this picket line.
But here's the thing though, for that same guy who's saying he wants to get rid of it and it'll do something like that, it's always the same guy that told the railroad people that they couldn't go out on strike. Is it not?
Mhm.
It was Trump who, so it may give them that's why I say, well, what if it transfers the power to him or somebody, another
Well,
entity?
see, that's what the whole Project 2025 is. Like I said before, they want to get rid of all the government-run organizations, administrations.
But then there's also the counter to that, though. Even if even if that is a benefit, well, a negative side to that is that I seen one bulletin point was that they want to raise the retirement age.
Yes.
So okay, you that even
75.
so if we did get something better as far as you can't stop us from striking, well, even though I'm striking, I still now gotta work till because if it's like what was it, France? I think they raised theirs to 73 or something like that. So
but then they also getting rid of OSHA. They would also get rid of OSHA. OSHA now makes it so that some of the quote unquote creature comforts that we have in a factory, they say you got to make sure that the people are comfortable enough. They were like, look, I ain't paying that $1 million electric bill in the summertime in Texas. Well, excuse me, $3 million electric bill. Because and that's one of the things that OSHA says, hey, you got to provide people this. Construction companies have to provide their employees when they're out working in the weather, they got to provide them with water. They got to provide them with a lanyard to do things that require them to be over a height of like 5 feet. They have to provide certain things. That's where OSHA comes in. If you get rid of things like that, employees were like, just climb up that tree. Like, I need you buy one on your own. So you ain't paying me enough.
Right.
It's sort of like me being Superman and not affording to get my suit cleaned.
Instances like what you're talking about, examples like that. Those are the type of things, the type of scenarios that we need to be presenting to people so that they know exactly what's at risk with this election or with your call to action or lack thereof. People need to know that it's simple things like this that we take for granted that are up for risk.
Well, even with this, Mary, and I know you should understand as well, Black people live in communities that tend to have a lot of toxic stuff like refineries, water treatment plants, things like that. We tend to end up with that stuff in our neighborhood. If you get rid of Project 2025 gets rid of things like the EPA.
Mhm.
Now, yeah, you'll have all the chrome rims you want in America because they're going to dump them all in our neighborhood. So they'll be dumping toxins in our water. You'll be drinking water that'll have 108 octane.
Look at Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Flint.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
to this day still.
And
Yeah.
you got places like Benton, Arkansas, where the water's tainted and stuff like that because of the chemicals that have been put there. There's a lot of places. Towards, I think it's Beaumont. I think Beaumont down that direction. They got a lot of oil refineries, and the water is pretty bad there, and a lot of people are getting, cancer down that direction. It's like you start looking at this, and it's like the EPA can do but so much. But if you get rid of the EPA, man, we are in trouble.
Yeah.
I think this take us perfectly into this, and I'm glad that you said about the people, how we need to know these things, because today at work, at a young man, and y'all know I'm not on the whole. I can't really determine if Trump. It's not for me to determine if, say, former President Trump is racist or not. But the young individual was like, "Who are you voting for?" "I'm voting for Trump." And this is his first time voting. I could tell he was young, and he was like, I was like, "Well, why?" If I'm being honest, I said I'm not a fan of either major parties, or Biden or Trump. I'm just not in favor of them really. But the stimulus check, he gave us stimulus checks, and what has Biden done? We're in a more horrible state now than we were then. And I said, well, let me. I said, I'm not great at this, but let me let you know something. What you're feeling now, a big part of that, for every president, has been really an effect of what was going on in the office before, because it takes them so long to get policies involved. And then when policies come into act, it takes so long before it has an effect on us, whether it's good or bad. I said, so some of the stuff you feel is really a cause of the same person you want to vote for. Vote how you want, but understand that same free money, like you think they was never going to get that back. Where do you think the inflation is coming from? Like, we paying that back. We got $1,200 a handful of times, and now we're paying it back like interest of a cash loan or a payday loan. Like we paying 500% back to the government. And
you should have told him that Trump give us that. He didn't give it to us.
And then he said, well, Biden didn't help with none of the with COVID. I said, you talking about the same way Trump didn't want to use what Obama had it put in, came up when he found out the possible pandemic going on. I said, your best bet, I'm glad you want to be active. To be active, you have to actually get active. I said, you got to do some more research, because thinking is going on isn't by the person, and the person you want to vote for has affected so much the things that you don't like. So man, don't go off of just Facebook, because look, some people
social media got our young people so heads messed up.
Oh, he's good. Well, and then some people I'd seen some people well, yeah, he said he's not back in Project 25. I said that's because he literally rewrote it and just named it Agenda 47.
Yeah.
And then I've seen some.
But everybody that helped to write it was a part of his administration.
Yes.
But
and
we
some
can
still are.
but the true thing of the differences in Biden and Trump have to do more with the fact that, though I don't particularly, like I said, I'm an independent. I don't particularly like either one of them. I think they're both two sides of a wing, each wing of a bird, and the bird is crapping on us. So my thought is, I'm not affiliated to a party because I don't believe that I can drive my Escalade to Hawaii, because I love my Escalade, but I can't get there. But whenever we can work this out to get my Escalade to Hawaii, I will definitely go. But one of the things that Biden, I can say, that has done is, if you look at the other world leaders, they all say the same thing. Our economy is doing better than every other economy on the planet. Do they ask them how they feel as far as working with Biden versus working with Trump? They all say that they enjoy working with Biden. They like his leadership. I'm not too much for him, but my thought is this: if the other world leaders say that, hey, this is a better person to work with than when they laughed at Donald Trump and said he seems immature, childish, and things like that. I don't care how strong of a strong man he thinks he is. I see him as a narcissist, and narcissists are the most fragile people on the planet. Their egos get hurt and then they act like babies. That's why Project 2025 comes around. That's why Agenda 47 comes around, because he did not like to lose. That's why the January 6th insurrection happened, because he knew that he had the power over people that were less than him. He didn't show up there trying to knock stuff down. He had other people. That's what Adolf Hitler did. Adolf Hitler never got his hands dirty to hurt a single Jew or any other person of color. He had the other people so that he could say, hey, it wasn't me. It's sort of like a mob boss. Mob boss goes, I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me.
Right.
Because he didn't do it.
All right. So this is all the more reason we need you all to come out and show up and register to vote. And bring your friends and bring some more friends and tell them to bring some friends. We need everybody, and don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe where they say your vote don't count. Yeah, it does. For now, it does. That's why we need you all to come out and vote and make sure Agent Orange doesn't get in office. Okay.
Well, we'll go one further than that. Please show up, because though you think your vote does not count, it counts more than you ever thought. Your ancestors have fought and died to get you that opportunity. Would you want your kids to let you down after you worked hard to get them into something, and you get them into college and they go, you know what, I'm a party all college and I'm not going to study? You done spent all that money and worked your butt off for it. It's the same way. Your ancestors have fought and died to get you this right. Use it.
All right.
And talk to your kids about it. Talk to your young people. My daughter just turned 18 years old. And so I make sure that she's aware with what's going on in the country. And we have, dialogue about it and conversation about it. And I ask her thoughts and her opinions on the different things. And I ensured, she got the opportunity to vote before the presidential election. So I made sure that she went and she voted for the local election, and make sure that she knew who the candidates were on the ballots and what their history were, and where she could research them. We have to encourage our children to learn and to know what's going on in their societies, and learn about the people that they're involved with, and encourage them, if they turn 18 in enough time where they're able to register to vote, bring your young people out so that they can register to vote. Tell them to bring their girlfriends out, their booze. Tell them, come on out, let's vote, let's register, because this is going to affect us. Right. These young ladies need to know what their rights are when it comes to the reproductive health system now. You can be arrested for having an abortion. Your girlfriend can be arrested because she didn't report you for having an abortion. And we don't know these things. That they are in effect. Not that they've been proposed, they've been passed, they've been implemented, and people are feeling the results of it. Your doctors are scared to offer you adequate care, because they may want you to get an abortion because it's not a viable pregnancy. They can't even, offer that to you anymore. These are all things that are affecting, everyone. My daughter, she's gone away, to college, but she 18 and she's going away to college, and I'm staying here, so I bought a big box of condoms, and said, make sure you keep them, and you don't know who he was loving before he was loving you. So, you
look at the numbers.
Yes, because today, she doesn't have, the luxury of saying, I made a mistake, Jaquan over in, he live in Maryland and I live in Dallas, and we not going to do this. And, that luxury is gone. Yeah. And the thing about it is, it ain't even about us. The laws where reproductive health are coming into play. Who is the largest majority of our largest race or population that gets abortions in the
It's not us.
It's not us.
They not like us.
No. But the thing is, the
Hey,
thing is, Jessica is really, liking Marquise these days,
Mm-hmm.
and so you don't have that pure bloodline anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they looking to make sure that they sustain a pure bloodline. And folk better read, and realize it ain't even about us. It's affecting us. It's affecting our young people. But that ain't even about us. That's so that they can have restore the possibility of next generations and a pure bloodline, because so many of our,
They'll never be
African
pure
American
again.
men are migrating to other nationalities, as are our women these
Mm-hmm.
days.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the world that we live in. So it ain't no such thing as, the pure Aryan nation. They running low, and so some of these things that are implemented, we need to look at the bigger picture. We need to look at the broader spectrum, and we need to make sure that our children know,
Mm-hmm.
hey, y'all need to read between the lines on some of y'all TikTok videos,
Mm-hmm.
and see what the real message is that's, being implemented. You need to pay attention to the fact that I'm sitting in the house and I'm talking to you and I tell you I want a red dress, and then the next thing I know, I look on my social media, and every time I look on my social media, it's a red dress. And
Mm-hmm.
I ain't typed in red dress. I ain't looked at red dress nowhere. I'm just sitting here in my living room with you with little faithful Alexa sitting
Mm-hmm.
here. But now everybody know I want a red dress.
Mm-hmm.
We need to pay attention to things like this, and we need to pay attention to what the laws are giving the government access to do. And
Mm-hmm.
these things that we are losing liberties for, while we trying to figure out, if Tyler Perry new movie is, a bust or not, you
Yeah.
know. So these are
Right.
things that we need to really share with our community.
All right. So we were okay. We got a few minutes left. So make sure you all come out to the information for you. Um, I know we got to touch on this for a little bit. Okay, we got to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, I know. Look, y'all. I know we all pissed. Okay, it's a lot of people who pissed, but it is what it is. What's your thoughts on the attempted assassination? Because honestly, I really don't think we really even need to get into it. I saw a video earlier today. It was the guy was saying, you know what? We don't even need to talk about it. We don't really even need to say anything about it. We need to just MYOMFB. Okay, mind your own business. And we ain't got no dog in that fight. It's had and he right. We have absolutely nothing to do with this. But you got a lot of people that still want to talk about it. So, what's your thought? Me, like I said, me personally, I'm kind of, yeah.
I'm gonna keep mine short. It was about as fake could be. I think it was just an attention getter so that he can boost his rates, be the victim, because narcissists love to be the victim. So if I can make something up, make something happen to a martyr and make myself be a bigger martyr, they tried to kill me, then guess what? Now he's no longer, it doesn't matter what Biden did. And now it's about me again because he wants the attention on me. It's about me. I'm the victim. That's the problem. I have to be the victim. You don't look at what good he did. I'm the victim. I did this. And that's what a narcissist does. And that's what Donald Trump does. Donald Trump is great at rewriting the agenda of anything. He'll rewrite the script to make it about him. That's why he won the Republican nomination.
Mm.
Um, so I'm a little torn in the middle because part of me is like, I don't want to, because if he did lost his life, well, what was it? So part of me is like, don't want to think it was a setup, but there are certain aspects of it that I question, and it's only because like I watch like a bunch of stuff like on like I said YouTube and stuff about guns and dealing with some guns or rifles from things like the sound of it. So
Mm-hmm.
from the way it sounded, made me want to know what caliber and what's the distance between it because I'm like, well, from the sound of it, didn't sound like it could have been a high caliber rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it wasn't a high caliber rifle, was he close? Because if he was far and it wasn't a high caliber rifle, well then what did he hit that made if the bullet didn't hit him? Because some are saying it's glass, some saying that it was a bullet. Well, what did he hit that made glass hit him with that impact? So
They
it's
probably
like,
ain't saying it was probably had a little 22.
but then with a 22, but then that's when I'm like, I got to see how far away was he from him with the said shot,
Mm-hmm.
because then I'm like, because for it to stay, then I need to know where the bullet landed, and then the fact that they're literally one of the people that did the interview was like, we sat here and told the cops that there was a man with a rifle, and I don't know in what scenario if they told y'all they seen a man with a rifle, and there's literally people that have images of him before he took the shot aiming down the rifle, that they wouldn't have took that threat seriously because of who former President Trump was. So it's like I would hate to discredit somebody almost losing their life, but I'm like, it's certain aspects of it where I'm like, y'all gonna have to come out with a CGI and show us some marks and stuff, because certain things are just like, it's just weird as far as like if the bullet did hit him, well, how big was the bullet for him to miss like that, or for him to hit glass like that, and for you to be, because if the video they showed of the marksman that shot him, you were already looking in that direction. So if you were already looking at that direction, how did you not see him until after he shot? So it's just certain things about it that like I got questions. But I'm like,
he probably could have been in another building somewhere off and probably couldn't see anybody that far. But
but the fact that people saw him and told the cops or whatever official, and nothing was done. Like, we know how they treat a school threat, a bomb threat. There's no way you're not finna investigate and people know where said person is, where he's at. Y'all not going to investigate it when we're talking about it in regards to somebody who's running for president of the United States and who is a former president of the United States.
My question to that whole thing is, the Secret Service looked like Keystone Cops up there. When Ronald Reagan got shot,
and he said to miss me.
When he got shot, they slammed him to the ground. It wasn't even 2 seconds. And they covered him up fully. There was no part that you could see of Ronald Reagan after that first second.
And you talking about, because they had a lady.
There was
a lady was the person in the front. I'm like, she's shorter than him.
There were about 7 seconds where his head was free, his torso was free. They said he lost a shoe. They went back to get a shoe. One person lost their glasses. They trying to find their glasses. Then they're leading him to the car. He's still wide up. He gets a chance to yell, fight, 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 yell, and then takes a photo op once again
and making money off that photo,
and gets into the car, leans up the car again. I'm like, no, there is no way that you would have. No, they snatched that. The Secret Service will snatch you and pull you in like a battering ram into a vehicle.
Unless, now I'm not trying to defend anybody, but I'm just saying maybe Secret Service has gotten very lax because nothing has happened
since, I think, what was
since Ronald Reagan.
Was it Ronald Reagan? No,
it was Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan was the last president that had
the last person that had anything that actually went at him. Was George W. And that was a shoe.
The shoe.
That was a shoe. That was that was the last thing that
the weapon of mass destruction.
Well, if his feet stank,
the whole thing is just fake. It's just really no other way to put. Number one is let's just look at the shooter. Let's just say it was one of us. Now, if you know that you have every intention on shooting the former president of the United States, who is now running for president again, who is mixed up in all kind of publicity and know that everybody want him dead, you know. But you are gonna be the shooter that's gonna carry this out. Number one, your average Joe is not gonna have that dream. Because he know he a goner before he get there, you know. So number one, anyone that's brave enough to do that, they're gonna have a meticulous plan.
Mhm.
You know, they're gonna be crafted in weaponry. You know, they're gonna be a key shooter. We talking about somebody that ain't gonna miss because he know that when it's over, I ain't gonna get to tell my story. They gonna take me out. So if I'm gonna do this, I ain't gonna miss. You know what I'm saying? And so we're having a conversation about the type of weapon, you know, that we're using. We know, come on, you going up against, you know, the Secret Service and in a room full of folk that's ready to jump on you for this man, you know, like his name, Jim Jones, and you gonna go up in a room with a 22, you know, that don't even make sense. You know,
Yeah.
if you just look at it from that don't even make sense. He went in ill prepared without a plan.
But he look ill too, though. No
Yeah.
disrespect,
Yeah.
because I don't. They ain't said everything else about him, but you right. But that would be from somebody who we at least would think had some was incompetent.
And
I'm
that
sorry,
goes
just
right
the
back
picture
to
don't.
it.
The picture just
It
don't
don't
look like
match.
something. Just look like it's something wrong with the boy. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
And
I
see,
seen the
that goes
picture.
It
further
probably
into
is.
what
It
you
probably is
said.
something wrong with him.
Because, you know, if it's somebody that was attempting to do that who did not possess these
He
qualifications
just
that I
one
was
day
saying,
decided to.
he wouldn't have made it that far.
That's my thing. Is like, how did he get to
Yeah,
where he could
he
set
wouldn't
up?
have made
That's
it that
why I
far.
was like, I need to know the distance
Well,
from.
I watched an interview with one of the Secret Service agents from when Reagan was shot. They do so many different measures to make sure that no one has a clear shot of it. So there's a person standing at the podium, want to look around. There's people checking every tall building. So there's no way.
Yeah.
It just all seems fake.
Because
But
I remember when I was in the Navy, he was coming. There was a new aircraft carrier. It's the newer ones. I believe it's the Lincoln or the Ford. He was coming. Mind you, he's coming on a military establishment. They said, and our commander told us, said, hey, and it wasn't even our ship. He wasn't even coming to our ship, but he said, hey, if you don't want to be on base, all right, I suggest y'all leave immediately after we dismiss. Because if you try and come on or you come on later, this base is gonna be locked down. And this is on the base. This is on a military establishment where you can't get in unless you don't have the right credentials. And for him to be on that ship, they was finna shut pretty much a lot of the stuff down over there and make it inaccessible and, like you say, make it safe. So that's why I'm like, I was so curious as to like how that got set up. And then so it can be a hoax, or if they slacked up, or them people that slacked up, they're gonna get treated like the cops down there in that school in Southern
Uvalde.
Texas. Yeah, where they were the way they responded. Y'all are finna get some of the similar disciplines, because if this wasn't a setup in so many ways, y'all were lackadaisy about the approach to making sure that man
like I
stayed
said,
safe.
they
But
would
I
not
don't
have
know.
stopped to get his shoe. I don't care what shoe
the
it
shoe
was.
and him lifting up. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of context that make it look. Him sticking the hand up. I'm sorry. Like, as a person, whether you've been in those environments where you've been shot at or not, I'm not finna stick my head back up and go like this. Especially if I'm bleeding from the ear already. No, that's too close enough to death for me. That ain't the way I planned on going when I came up to this podium. I'm not giving you a clear shot at me. Y'all would have heard. I'm not gonna lie. If I was a president, I would have said some real appropriate stuff, because I'm finna, hey, make sure I'm all the way covered. Like, protect me, please.
I'm not gonna be sticking my hand out the window, you know.
They ain't even got to worry about keeping me low, because I'm crawling. Y'all get on top of me. We getting out of here.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is, if my timing is correct, forgive me if it isn't. But you know, last election, this time we mysteriously got 2-day COVID.
He did COVID. And they made it in time too. You know what?
Right.
You know,
Ooh.
Well.
he got end of election, you know, 2-day COVID, you know, so he could prove to his followers that I'm
His little fake.
I'm strong.
He was trying to prove that his little fake drug
Yeah.
that he was pushing was doing it
Yeah.
and everything.
So this is no surprise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, all right.
It's crazy though. I don't know.
Well, that's what we can. That's all we can. That's all we have for today. We're gonna cut this right here because we've gone long enough. We're gonna end this right here, and we want to thank you again, Mary,
Yes, ma'am.
for being here with us today. Tell people how they can get in touch with you.
You can call me. I'm very simple. 682-701-0576. You can look for me on social media under Mary MJ Harper, or you can look for Pay It Forward Projects. So that's Pay It, the number 4 WARD Projects. Pay It Forward Projects.
Projects with an S.
With an S, yes, sir.
Yeah, because I was looking with a. I was looking for it and I couldn't. I didn't put the S on there.
Projects with an S. We are in the process of getting our website built up, but it's payitforwardprojects.us. So you'll be able to access this on social media on our website within hopefully the next week or so. We're also on Instagram as well. You guys, you should definitely look into coming to the Inspiring Women's Award Gala. That's an event that we sponsor here in the DFW, where we recognize ordinary women doing extraordinary things, running organizations like myself or other programs that benefit the community through various areas: philanthropy, social media, social services, law and public policy, so on and so forth. It's going to be on July the 28th at 5:00 p.m. It is a black tie event. We'll be recognizing 16 women right here from the DFW Metroplex.
Okay.
I might try and check that out.
Okay. And so I mean, try and take figure out on that. And where is it going to be held and how do people get tickets to it?
It's going to be at the White Room in Pantego, Texas. It is a black tie event. I have a link on my social media pages as well. You can also look for the tickets on allevent.in. It's an alternative to Eventbrite, so you don't have to pay those astronomical fees to purchase a ticket. So you can look for us on all events. And I'll make sure that I'll answer if you call 682-701-0576. This benefits our scholarship fund. We have the ML Harper Scholarship Fund, where we bless local students in the area with a scholarship at the end of the school year. So you should definitely consider coming out and supporting what we're doing. We'll have a silent auction as well, live band, entertainment. Another gentleman that I would love for you all to meet, his name is Dr. Walter Milton. He's the founder and co-author of BH365. It is a Black-owned and operated educational publishing company, and it's based right here out of Dallas, Texas. It is the most recent Black American textbook there is, and it covers history from ancient Africa all the way through George Floyd.
Okay.
So it's definitely something that we're encouraging people to get into their homes and into their churches.
All right. So, Mary Harper with Pay It Forward Projects.